Life in Letters.
The presenting sponsor of My Life in Letters is sprayplanet.com. This is where you go to get everything MTN colors, be it 94, hardcore, whatever it is, go check them out. They're also the distributor of Crink products, Posca markers, and Grog inks. So go check out sprayplanet.com right now, order something, and go make your mark. But without further ado, let's get into this next episode. My Life in Letters. We are doing it again, and I'm super excited. Today on the phone, I actually don't even know where you're at. It's ITSE on the phone right now. She doesn't rep crews. She doesn't need a crew. She's always doing her thing. Thanks for being on the show, ITSE. It's really great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
And where are you? Like, what part of the country are you in right now?
Right now I live in Birmingham, Alabama.
Damn. Down in Birmingham.
Down south.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. I'm just like, a lot of the work that I've been doing lately has been political, and like, man, you are in a hotbed down there.
Yeah.
For all kinds of stuff. How'd you end up down in Birmingham?
Well, I was born here. I've only lived one other place. And I mean, I'm trying to move out of here. It's just so hard to like find a job in another state and pack up all my things, but
yeah. I love Alabama, though. I got to say, my mom is from Mobile. I spent a lot of time in Alabama. It's a beautiful state, great people, challenging history, but whatever. We have a challenging history in our country, so that's just it is what it is. And back on you, like we're excited to have you on for a lot of reasons. Like, you're doing your thing. We see you out there. You just told me that you started writing in 2010 before the interview. I didn't know that, we think it's exciting that we get to get younger writers on with not as much history, but you still have as much importance in the culture, and your story is as important as anybody's. I don't want to make gender a big part of this interview, but we have found here how important it is to get women on the show to hear the stories of female writers, because you guys are a part of the culture and an often overlooked part of the culture. So again, numerous reasons that we're excited to have you on. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
We don't prepare any questions for the podcast. And actually, I should just say this right now that we're about to do a bit of a refresh on the podcast. And so I want to give some, our listeners just a little note that pretty soon after the drop of this episode, we're probably going to go dark for a few weeks while we restructure and rebrand. So that is just something for all you guys listening to know, that there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup here at My Life in Letters. But today we're going to do it the way we always do it. And the way that I've started every podcast is basically wanting to get some kind of a sense maybe of an experience or something that went down for you with lettering before graffiti hit you. Now, if you started writing in 2010, that says a lot to me. That says that you have probably seen a lot of graffiti even before you first started doing it in 2010. That's an assumption I'm making. But beyond that, do you have a recollection as a kid of how lettering had some sort of an impact on you, but pre-graffiti?
Well, definitely before 2010, I really didn't see a lot of graffiti. Just because down in Birmingham, we don't have a lot of writers. And I was from the suburbs, so I never really saw graffiti until I came downtown. And still, it wasn't, anything like, oh, wow, check out these awesome murals. Or like, if you drive down the streets of New York, you're going to see a lot of grass. But here, like, you might see like one throw up for like, 10, 12 blocks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not a lot of graph out here. As far as seeing lettering or lettering impacting me before then, like, I mean, I always had like, like little Lisa Frank notebooks or something with like, bubble letters and stuff like that on them. So that was kind of cool to try to do stuff like that. Like, I used to draw a lot in class.
What kind of stuff would you draw?
Oh, nothing of importance, like always just like, just like stupid stuff like flowers and boys' names I liked or whatever,
Okay.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but then, like, even though you hadn't seen Graph in the suburbs of Alabama, what about the internet? Like, were you seeing stuff online before 2010, Graph wise?
Not really. Like I didn't follow it, you know? Like I didn't it wasn't even on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like I didn't have an Instagram account or anything like that until I mean probably 2014.
Okay.
So you know, I didn't see Graph. Like I mean I had like a freaking like a Facebook or you know something like that, but you know because I didn't follow people on my Facebook that did graffiti or whatever, I never really saw it online.
Okay. And you know that's interesting, right? Because by 2010, graffiti was, you know, 45 years old, maybe almost 50 years old, like with spray paint, with markers, names, you know, street numbers and that kind of thing. Like the history was like really, really old and deep, right? And so then it makes me wonder, like, what was that very first dose of graffiti culture for you?
Well, this is kind of funny. One of my old friends, when we were, oh man, I don't know how old we were. We were probably like 16 or something. She liked this guy and he did graffiti and she was like, I'm going to do graffiti. So that he likes me or whatever. I want to do graffiti. And I was like, okay, I'll go. I was like, if you buy the paint, I'll go with you. Sure. And so we all went in Walmart. It was like me and her and one of her girlfriends that I didn't really know that well. We went into Walmart and, you know, we just got all the Krylon, which was terrible. But I guess that was cheaper or we liked the colors or something. And then, you know, we went back. We didn't even sketch anything. We were just like, it's cool. Like you pick a name and then you go out there and you just like paint stuff. And like, I remember just like, yeah, like this is going to look good, you know? And then got out there and it looked terrible. We painted a spot. Like it wasn't like a hot spot, but we still like went out. Like we didn't go to like a chill wall. Like we didn't even know where anything like that was. You know, like
so how did you guys determine the spot you were going to that day or that night?
Oh, we seriously just rode around and we were like, that one.
Nice.
You know, like we're like, this looks good. Like we didn't even, it's just, we're so naive. We didn't even think about it being illegal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a car passes by, we're just like, what's up? Like with our cans of paint.
And so that was, who were you with that night? Was that girl that was doing it, was she a writer or were none of you like really officially writers yet?
Oh, none of us were writers at all. Okay. Like,
and she was doing the piece of a guy's name.
No, we all came up with our own names.
Oh, I'm sorry. You came up with your own names. Okay. And so what were you guys piecing that night?
I did the name Dottie and she did like Zim or something. Like it was so dumb.
And Dottie, so Dotty?
I think I spelled it Dottie or something.
What was
something.
Why Dottie? What was it?
Oh my gosh. It was like spur of the moment. They're like, pick a name. And I was like, okay. It was like from I'm trying to think like a little, back in the day, they were like little characters like Spotty and Dottie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys are going to do this. Like when you were like preparing it, going into Walmart, I mean, what were you thinking? Were you just thinking, oh, this is like a thing to do right now? Just in this moment, we're going to do this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have any understanding of the history behind what you were about to do and the culture around it?
No, not at all. And it didn't impact me because I didn't see good graffiti still.
Right.
Like, it was just like, this is something we're going to do that my friend wants to do. Like, sure. And, you know, I didn't start writing until, several years after that. And like, I didn't, like when I went to bed that night, like I didn't think about it the next day even. Like it wasn't even, it definitely didn't impact me as far as like, yo, this is so fun. Like I want to do this again. Like I was just like, that looked terrible. Like,
can you tell us about your piece a little bit? Like, do you remember what colors that you use that night?
The thing that I remember the most about it is that I put a crown on the top of it.
Yeah, hell yeah. You queened that shit man. Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do a Dottie piece, all Krylon from Walmart. You did it with some homegirls of yours. Do you remember, was it fun? Did you enjoy the night, like while you were doing it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was like, I remember being like, this is cool to be like, kind of sneaky or whatever, like because we had to like park in front of people's houses and then walk down the road. Nice. Like I'm surprised we didn't just like pull the car over and park like right there. At least one of us was thinking.
And there was, how many were there of you? Were there 3 or 4?
3.
There were 3 of you. And like how long did you guys spend at the wall?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or something.
Oh, it was pretty fast. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And you said that was a few years before you officially started writing. So was this 2007 that you went out and did the Dottie?
That sounds pretty accurate. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then how did the next few years progress for you between 2007, that first Dottie piece, and when you consider yourself officially starting to write in 2010? Can you tell us some of the like sort of benchmark moments in those 3 years that got you to start writing?
Oh, yeah. Whenever I turned, I think I was like 18, my parents' house that I was living in burnt down. And I just had to find a place to live. Like, we didn't have any insurance or anything on the house. It was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to go stay with your aunt. Like, you need to get a job and I'll help you find a place to live. And so I got an apartment downtown, which is how I eventually saw graffiti. So like it turns out to be like a good thing, Mm-hmm. Because my apartment that I moved into, it was like really, really close, like 2 blocks up from the main line that runs through Birmingham.
Okay.
So that on trains, like passing through, is where I saw graffiti that looked good, where I was like, yo, like, what is that? Like, this is cool.
And you say mainline, you mean freights, yeah? When we talk about trains?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember are there any names or any pieces in particular that stood out on freights early on for you that really caught your eye?
I remember the things that were legible stuck out to me because it was things I could read, like curse. A lot of the SFR people, like, because several SFR crew members lived here or from here. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of their trains are still like coming back through or would be like laid up. Like there's a couple little layups that were close by there. Like I started investigating them more and I would see a lot of SFR stuff. So I'm trying to think like TCI, like their shit. Like I remember seeing their shit and being like, oh, wow. Because, it's decently legible for somebody who's just seeing graffiti, but it's like, whoa, that has a lot of style to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, so now you're living downtown. Was that when you turned 18? When was that? What year?
Let's see.
Sorry,
I guess that was No, it's okay. I guess that was 2010. I'm 25. Help me.
So you're 18. You moved downtown. That also had to be kind of traumatic. Was that your childhood home that burned down?
I mean, I'd lived there for a pretty long time.
Okay.
Maybe like 10 years or something.
Was there a lot of loss in that for you? Did you lose like, I don't know, family photos and just that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. And that's actually where it impacted me a lot. Like as far as from that point in time, I completely changed and graffiti hit me right then. And it gave me, a big change too. Like, kind of like, I feel like it definitely changed the person
Can you
that I am.
talk about that a little bit? Like how, for those of us who just haven't experienced something like that, how did it change you and how did that affect your art?
For me, I had a cat that I had raised from a tiny little baby, like bottle fed her, and her name was Itsy Bitsy because she's so tiny when I found her. So that's where my graph name came from. I mean, I tried a couple of other names,
Yeah.
but that was the one that, whenever I eventually like met a decent writer, they were like, you have to pick a name, and Itsy is probably the best one out of all the ones that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and I'm sorry,
that's
was that
why.
cat lost in the fire?
Yes, yeah, she died. And, I searched all through the house. Like, I was in the house and the house was on fire.
Oh.
So I was looking for her and I couldn't find her. And it's just like rough,
That sucks. Sorry to hear that. And so that happened. Then like Itsy, it's also, it's like a memorial in a way, that name for you. It's got deeper meaning. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's interesting. And then you said there were some other names that maybe you were playing with at the same time as Itsy. What other names were you thinking? I take it Dottie was not on the list.
No, Dottie was not on the list. I tried out the name Rogue for a while. And that's really the only other name that I took like seriously. But Itsy was originally meant to be spelled with a Y. But I just like sketching early on. I was like, man, I really can't draw this Y. So, the E was just easier and looked better. Like it looked a little more symmetrical.
Yeah.
I guess.
Also, I like the name Itsy because you could do a lot with it. You could do a ITSIE, or you could do all kinds of stuff if you wanted to like extend your piece and make it bigger. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so who were the people that were giving you feedback on names? Like you said that some people were like, oh yeah, Itsy would be the way to go. Who were you talking to in 2010?
That was Days TN, which he's the only writer from here that like it really like he's still putting in a lot of work and is like super serious about graffiti. There's definitely people here who write graffiti, but they only do it on the weekend. Or like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a big part of their life.
Sure.
Like it's just like if they're in a bar, they're gonna do tags in the bathroom or whatever.
But with Days, and then I'm curious, like, how did you get to meet a guy like Days?
I used to ride my bike around to all the different little bench spots and stuff like that. And I met him benching one day, and I knew that he did tattoos, and I had just gotten a tattoo. And like he was just sitting there and I was sitting there, and I was like really like, I was super whack, and like I'm pretty sure that he probably like it's a small place, like there's not a lot of people here, so I was sure that he was like, oh, this is probably that girl that writes graffiti then sucks really bad. So
okay.
I walked up and like asked him if he had any A&D because I was a good bike ride away from my house and I didn't want to ruin my new tattoo by just getting all dry and stuff, and he's like, no.
You asked this guy at a benching spot if he had A&D ointment on him?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, you're totally a tattooer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you never know. Guy might just carry around ointment.
Maybe.
But
why not?
Yeah, it's worth asking. But he said no. And then how did that relationship progress?
I think we just eventually like, I kept benching at that same spot and he did too. And so, that's about it. Like as far as that goes.
Was there ever a conversation like where you were like, hey, what do you write? Or did you somehow know from like some other secondhand information that was Days?
Oh, I definitely already knew that. I'm trying to think how I had seen like a photo of him or something.
Like I wonder how that becomes kind of common knowledge, even within a small, or especially within a small town, maybe, because I would think that people would keep that information pretty close to the vest,
Yeah, I think I probably saw a video. I think this is what it was. A video of him and some other people painting
Okay.
down here, like a kind of like a chill wall legal spot kind of thing.
Okay. So you knew. And were you that day when you met him benching and you asked for the A&D ointment, were you already writing ITSE?
I was leaning more towards Rogue because I was practicing that name, and I felt like it looked a lot better than ITSE. I struggled really hard with like the I to T, and I was like, really ready to throw in the towel on that one,
But he said, no, don't go with Rogue, go with ITSE. Do you remember any reasons? Like, did he happen to say, hey, Rogue has probably been written 1,000 times? Or what conversation did you guys have about name selection?
He was pretty much like, Rogue sounds generic. Like, I've heard that before, but I've never heard ITSE or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
So then I'm also curious, because you talked about practicing and like sketching. And so what I'm wondering is like, how did you develop like sort of a practice of sketching? Where were you learning about it? Like, did you just pick up a book and start doing it? Did someone else show you a black book and kind of show you how to sketch? How did you formulate things?
I had a freight train graffiti book that I would look at. I actually got it from, it makes me sound like a bad person because I stole it from like this, it's like a bar venue thing. And I was there for like a little concert, and I just saw it. Like, they had a bunch of books, like a little nook where you can sit. And I was like, damn, this thing's cool. And I yanked it.
Do you remember the name of that book?
Yes, I think it's called the Freight Train Graffiti Book. It's got like a piece of a pre-piece on the front.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And so that kind of became a little bit of a, I don't know. A lot of people talk about how they got like subway art or spray can art, and that was their Bible for a little while they were kind of, a novice or a toy and they were learning. So you would look to that book for inspiration, let's call it.
Yeah, because as far as like starting to sketch, I remember I used to draw like big tags, and I would just like, if I make these thick, like with a marker, then I can outline it, and that's a piece.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's what guys were doing in the 60s and 70s in New York, like they would just do a big tag and then they would put like a little thing around it and some dots inside the tag, and that was a piece. So that's cool. That seems like kind of a smart progression. Do you remember anyone in particular in that book that kind of really stood out and you were like, yeah, that's the look that I would like to try to have?
Oh man, I don't. Okay. Like, it's been a minute since I've looked at it, and I can't think of anybody.
That's cool. And then, so then what I am curious about is like who you were looking at. Like you mentioned Days, so that makes sense that you would be kind of getting influence from that. You mentioned SFR Crew and TCI. And I think it's different to see stuff rolling past you as opposed to sitting down with people and sketching or painting a wall together, where then like the influence is just like kind of ramped up, like the more you paint side by side with somebody, the more you start to kind of just take elements from that person. So early on, besides Days, who else maybe was, and actually, let me rephrase that. Did anyone mentor you in 2010?
Not in 2010. Like, it took me a while to, like, even, start meeting people and, like, try to, like, like, meet other writers. It was difficult for me. And, like, people didn't, like, I remember this guy that used to live down here that writes Hyena. He was like crossing out my tags and writing stop over them. And like, I was writing with people that I had become friends with who were just as toy as me. And he was purely doing it because I was a girl. And he was like, girls don't belong in this community. Like, if you're a girl and you start writing in New York, like people there have seen it before and it's like welcomed. They're like, yeah, like let's make sure this girl like gets good, or like, we want this to survive because it's cool or whatever. But here I was super hated on. Like it was like a double whammy. It's like, you suck and you're a girl. Get out of here.
Interesting. Yeah. What happened to Hyena?
I think he moved away, but because he was like, all the toys that live down here were like, oh, we love you to him. And because he hated on me, they all hated on me, like,
yeah,
just because he did. So that's something that I'm really thankful for, though, because I'm one of those people that I feel like, no, you can't do that. Like, no. Then I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Hell yeah.
So
shout out to that dude for crossing you out. That goes back to that kind of comment that I made about wanting to get women on the podcast because, I am in New York and I see that. I grew up in San Francisco. We also like encouraged women back then in the 90s to be writing, and like, man, I just had an experience where my daughter is in Texas with my wife right now, and our aunts, her Texas aunts gave her like this huge like princess fucking outfit, which like we push back really hard on that shit here in our house. Like our daughter would never get princess shit because we know that comes from some culture of like trying to keep women in some pretty cute fucking box, as opposed to letting them go out and do stuff. And so that dude, being probably just a product of his environment down in Alabama, where there's still a lot of that, like women should be clean and quiet and demure and do shit and probably fucking cook and like not be the career person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fuck that. I fucking push back on that shit big time. And so I appreciate also that Hyena crossing you out just gave you more drive to be like, fuck you, I'll do whatever I want. So, and now, that brings me to wanting to ask you about like, because you said you were writing with a lot of other toys. Were you writing with a lot of women specifically because of like a comfort level? Or were you writing with a mixed group of men and women early on in 2010?
I mean, there weren't that many people down here that were writing. I mean, it was probably like, I can think of like 3 people that I wrote graffiti with, and we were all just terrible. But
women or men?
They were all guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're all men. I can only think of one girl down here that ever really tried to write graffiti, and it was just like it was for like 2 weeks. Like it wasn't even, it was for nothing.
Well, and then also I need to have you explain a little bit about Birmingham, because like, I don't know the graph culture down there. You've told us stuff that it's very small. You've told us that there's a freight scene and that's about it, that maybe you would see a throw up downtown. Can you talk a little bit more about the Birmingham scene in 2010? Just like maybe paint a little bit of a picture for us of just what it's like to try to be a writer there in 2010 or 2011.
I mean, just honestly, it's pretty rough because it is so small. And like, Days kind of calls the shots here. He's kind of like a big guy. Like most people, like I remember coming up and like they would like tell these stories about him that were just like, holy fuck, like he ripped some dude's eyeball out, like that's nuts. Like just like crazy stories where you're like, do not, like, don't fuck with him, and like don't, like, if you paint something, like, I don't know, I was very like, I'm not painting anything until I get better, like that's really the mentality that I had, because all I wanted to do was paint trains. I never really had an interest in painting walls or anything. I mean, there definitely is graffiti here. Like if you drive down the interstates and stuff, there's interstate spots, but they're, mainly the same people. Like Days, Blaze, and Moist were like the people down here that painted and were good. And they have like,
also there's like, you don't have a city that has embraced it in any way, right? Like the city probably was super anti-graffiti because you're just like, you're like a speck of, like you're one in thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing graph. Like there's just no one doing it but you and a few other people. So it probably was just even difficult to expose it in any way, right? Were you having to like constantly hide it from people early on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely one of those things that in a lot of places, like if you're in Chicago or something and, you have your black book and you're going through it, people will be like, oh, that's interesting. Like, whatever, how pretty. Like down here, I feel like a lot of people are like, that's illegal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very like, you don't do that. Like, just like people down here are still like, marijuana is illegal and terrible. Mm-hmm. Like it's a bad thing. It's like, yo, it's medicine in other states. Are you an fucking
always
idiot? It
baffles me in a lot of, especially states that have concealed carry permits. Like the fact that everybody in your town can just have a fucking 9mm in their purse, but they wouldn't smoke weed. I'm like, it just blows me away. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with your thinking, But that's okay. That's a bigger thing. We won't get into that. What I was interested in was just like, I want to learn more about Birmingham graph, because also what I do know about towns like Birmingham is that now, and I don't want to like compare Birmingham to other cities too much, but the street art thing is being embraced by all these conservative smaller cities across the country. It's like really weird and interesting to see, like a festival pop up in, I don't know, I'm just going to say Boise, and, sorry for my people in Boise, but let's say there's like a street art festival in Boise. But 2 years ago, you would be like lynched if you were caught painting a wall. Are you seeing anything in Birmingham around the like quote unquote, like sort of street art acceptance phenomenon?
Not yet. Definitely not yet. But I mean, we do have a lot of new things going up, like new buildings and everything like that. But like, as far as murals down here, even like just like street art or whatever, like there isn't a lot. Like there's like, I can think of one right now.
One mural, and then, one street art mural. Interesting. Okay. I mean, because Birmingham isn't that small. It's actually kind of it's a pretty big place. How many people live in Birmingham? Do you know?
Oh, no, I could Google it.
That's okay. I mean, I feel like it's got to be like over 1 million people, right?
I don't know.
Okay,
anyway, I don't think so.
I felt like it was pretty big, like when I was there, just like numbers wise. Anyway, I mean, in a way, I kind of feel like that's great. You know what I mean? If I was you, I would kind of be like, I would kind of enjoy that, because one day I think your city will be overrun with street art, because eventually they're going to figure it out that there's money to be made and there's all this culture that everybody wants to jump onto. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Let's pull back a little bit back to 2010. You've like established now that you're going to write ITSE and you're doing your thing, and you have people going over you like that dude Hyena. And did you get encouragement from other people saying, don't worry about that guy, just keep doing your thing, keep sketching, and like keep piecing to like kind of get over this hump of being a toy?
Literally, that's the reason that Days even ever did a sketch for me or gave me the time of day, I feel, is because he hated those kids so much. That he was like, you know what, like, sure, I'll help the girl to try to, be better than them or whatever, Okay. So he was definitely like, fuck
he gave
them.
You an outline early on?
Yeah, pretty early on. I mean, probably, 6 months into meeting him, he's like, here's the straight letter thing. And they gave me like a really sick piece, but I was like, I can't paint this,
Did you try?
Oh yeah, I tried.
What'd you do? Did you like take it to a train yard, or did you go to some chill wall to try it out?
Oh, definitely a chill wall. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like I wasn't like, pretty much like, I'm not going to paint trains until someone of importance tells me that it's cool if I do. Like, I just didn't want to fuck it up. Like, I was like, man, I don't want to put my stuff up there and it looked really bad.
That's so interesting, because like we had the opposite experience where like we would do anything on trains back in the day, back in the 90s, because we thought nobody would see them. Whereas like painting a wall in San Francisco, everybody saw it, and you didn't want to get like clowned for being a toy. But like we would go into the freight yards and just like piss all over those trains. So you had the opposite. You would practice on little chill walls, but you wouldn't hit a train until you had that approval. When did you get that approval to go into a train yard the first time?
Let's see. And I had gone into a train yard like with other people to paint, and I mean, I didn't paint though. Like I was like, no way. And it's so funny. It's a train yard that I wouldn't go into now to paint. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like the worst spot.
Oh, because it's hot, you mean? Like everybody's going there?
Oh yeah, there's no. Like it's not even like that down here. That's what's so cool about it is like spots don't get blown up here.
Good.
You know?
Nice. Is that because there's not that many writers still, or there's like a level of respect? Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. That's great. Enjoy that because that goes.
I've definitely it's something I've learned to cherish.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I went into a train yard like, around the time, but probably before I had established like, I'm going to write ITSE for sure. Like it was probably in like 2010 or 11, like just starting. And like this is the most active train yard. Like, and I'm pretty sure like no one told me how to prepare or anything. Like I'm pretty sure I was wearing like flip flops or Toms. And we're like crossing between, which I don't do this now. Some people do, like unless I have to, like cross in between like a live line of trains. We're just crossing over them. I'm in my flip flops, just like taking my time, like just like, what's up? It starts pouring down rain and we're out there. There's trucks passing by on like the, the service road. And like, I was just like, what the fuck? Because it was so loud. It was like, they're humping cars and shit and you can hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is nuts. This is where people paint the trains, I guess, like I was like, fuck. Like the first train I painted, I went out with Days Blazing Moist, and like I thought that I was just going to like watch them paint. So I did. Like I just sat out there and they all painted their piece, and then on the flip side of the car they painted, we all painted a straight letter, and it was 4 of us on one boxcar. And I remember, like, I'm like, okay, this is it, right? Like, this is what I've been waiting for. And I remember, like, I had my straight letter, like a picture of it and everything to sketch. And it was so big, like the train. I had a 1/4 of a boxcar. And I remember thinking, like, this is huge. Like, how am I going to sketch this onto here? Like, I was like, I don't even know. And then I was like, oh man.
You'd been piecing much smaller things on like kind of the walls that you've been practicing on?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. And I guess because it was high up, I don't know. But like, I know now that I would be like, yo, we can't fit 4 of us on this. Like one of you guys is going to have to go. Like,
yeah. But back then it was really huge. Also, were you doing that Days scan, or were you working on your own? I'm sorry, that Days sketch, or were you working on your own?
I think that was my own thing, but it was like seriously in boxes. Like, when you were talking about like, how did you start sketching and what was the process? I remember making like graphs, like grids.
Yeah, nice.
To try to fit stuff into each box, which, is like getting your proportions correct and stuff. So I was really, really focused on that when I probably shouldn't have been. You know what I mean? Like I was just doing like just little straight letters and stuff. And then, I wish that somebody would have told me this really early on. I wish they would have been like, yo, just paint fonts. Like start out to get your can control, paint some fonts. Like it will make you not look super whack, and you'll learn can control. Yeah. And like I just wish that somebody would have told me that.
So was that? Yeah, I mean that's the stuff that mentors usually give, and like mentorship used to be a topic that would come up a lot in our podcast, and it comes up less and less with lots of writers, and I think because it's going away. But there used to be like a system of like someone would bring you up, someone would teach you these things, and now we don't really have that. I mean, you figured that out on your own. I'm curious that night, how that 4-person car turned out.
Oh, I have pictures of it still.
Okay.
It turned out okay. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Okay.
But I remember not being like super bummed on it,
Okay.
Like obviously mine was the worst, but I was like, really like proud of myself. Like I was like, oh yay, I painted my first train.
Yeah,
So,
and you painted it with these dudes that are killing it, and that's pretty dope. And that must have given you some encouragement to like keep going. You're like, well, these guys are willing to like take a chance on me. And I'm curious, like what kind of paint? I presume you didn't go with a bag full of Krylon that night.
No. And I actually didn't go with any paint because I didn't know that I was
right. You
painting.
said you were just gonna walk. Okay, so what? They gave you all your paint for that piece?
Well, I mean, I guess they'd already planned, like, okay, we're gonna let her paint with us tonight or something, because we stopped by. It was like a Dollar General or something, and we stole a bunch of silver cans.
Okay.
And I think it was like that maybe like Red Devil brand or something like that.
Oh,
like,
wow. Okay.
Seriously, I think that, they were just like, oh, we're just going to do this real fast at the end. Like, it's just silver fills and black outline. So, I mean, I guess I just used that for my fill, and they probably just gave me a can of black or something for the outline.
Okay. And so like then that piece rolls out and you're like on this train with these three guys, and you had this, this sense of like, yeah, I fucking just did that. How did things progress? Like, cause now I look at your pieces and they're pretty fresh, and you have your own style. Like, it's dope. I mean, I can see the elements of like, actually some of the people you just mentioned, like Days and Moist, like I can actually see that influence in your letters now when I kind of think about it. But I'm curious, like after that night, did that just give you like a new amount of like confidence and like kind of zeal to like go and just like start doing even more?
Yeah, for sure. And like I definitely felt like whenever I started painting graffiti for real, I was like 19 or something, and I was like, man, I'm getting old. Like all these people have been painting since they were 15, like I was like, I gotta catch up.
Yeah, you gotta catch up. Mm-hmm.
I'm like super behind, and like I feel like I'm starting late. Like, I'm never gonna catch up with these people because they're just gonna keep getting better and better and better, and I'll never progress to like near the point that they are.
Well, then what happened? How did you?
Let's see. So just those people, like we didn't hang out all the time. Like, I don't think they were really concerned with like, like, oh, let's help somebody get better. Like how you're saying, a mentorship. Like, I don't think that that's like really, prominent anymore, or here it wasn't. So, I really felt like I had to reach out to like other places and like start to travel and meet people, to like try to like, see how they paint and learn from them. And, I went to Art Basel in like 2014, I think. Yeah, I think 2014. And like, well, actually, how I found out about it was through some people. I went to a like Steel Wheels in Atlanta, and
what is Steel Wheels?
Steel Wheels is it's like a art show kind of thing.
Oh, it's like a graph
in Atlanta.
Like graph jam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like the first thing that I ever went to where they were like it was like a graffiti culture. Like there was like a bunch of people there who all wrote graffiti, and like I went there by myself. Like I didn't know anybody, and I'm kind of shy. Like, I mean, I can be talkative or whatever, but like I just like, I was super whack. I didn't know anyone. So I put my headphones in and I wasn't even listening to any music. You know what I mean? I just had my headphones in and I'm just like walking around, like eavesdropping on people's conversations and just like, looking at stuff. And I remember seeing like a Wayne piece in there and being like, whoa, this is so sick. Like that's really where I saw a lot of writers, like, it's like a train show too, so they have a bunch of model trains and stuff, and from all over. And it was just like, I was like, wow, this is like, a super huge culture. And
and what do you think? Like, I mean, what I wonder is like, was it completely, you just had no idea that the culture was this big until you went down to Atlanta and saw that show, how large the culture was?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I knew like from the internet that it was pretty big, Like as far as
And then talk about that for a second, please, because like you're a post-internet writer. Like I'm a pre-internet writer. You know, we were doing it forever before we could see it. For someone like you, like a younger writer like you, like how does the internet play a role in your development? Like if you're seeing it on screen, is that as influential as benching a freight in person or seeing people painting in front of you? Is it the same thing or is it a little different?
You know, I feel like that's like, a sensitive subject for some people. Like people get mad like when you talk about the internet and like how much of a tool it is today for people and for marketing, for businesses. Like people
you can understand why, right? Like it's like this is such a personal art form that we created, but then it gets online and it's just like cookie cutter. Everybody in the world can do a style that looks pretty good because they've seen it a million times on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how you react to seeing the work throughout the internet as like just like another component of influence.
I think I like it. I think that it's awesome. Like as far as it goes, like as far as when you're looking on your phone, like everybody's on Instagram or Flickr or whatever. And, it is to me the same thing as if you're benching a train, because you're not like a lot of people during the day on your lunch break, you can't go and bench trains.
Sure.
Even if you want to really bad. Like some people could, I'm sure. But, so everybody's like on their phone and scrolling through, and like when you paint things, like you want people to see those things. Like, so everybody has this device in their hands. And if graffiti is something that you look at and you're interested in, then you pursue that by looking up different graffiti things and following different people so that it comes up in your feed. And like, it's just another way to put yourself out there and make yourself seen, just as if you're doing a bunch of tags everywhere. Like where I'm from, there's no point in me doing that and bombing or whatever because there's no one here to see it,
Yeah. No, totally. And I think like I'm not one of the people that's like, oh, fuck the internet and it killed graffiti. Like I don't buy that bullshit at all. Like I think actually, but it's just because I want to use these tools, Instagram, the internet, whatever it is. I want to use these tools to push myself forward. And like, if you are denying those tools, you're probably never going to really move forward because you can't like fight the tide. Don't swim upstream. You know what I mean? Now, the argument that like there's like this sort of homogenous look to a lot of graffiti, like it all looks the same, like it came from the same fucking dairy factory. Like I agree with that. I see a lot of really bland graffiti that's clean and it has style, but like it just looks like AOK pieces from the 90s in New York and everybody's doing the same kind of look. So like I see both sides of it, but I don't fight it. I don't fight the tide. But I am always interested to hear on a younger writer's perspective. So I think that's really interesting. To get back to Basel, because you said you went down in 2014, and by 2014 now, like you have several years now, you've been writing 4 years. Let's say you've been writing, you've been benching, real writers, you had that train book, you went to Atlanta and saw that show, and now you go down to Basel, which like I went last year for the first time. I really fought that. I swam upstream on that for a long time. I just didn't want to go down. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But how was it in 2014? It must have been pretty wild for you to go down there and see that scale of the culture. Yeah. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it was the first time that I'd flown on a plane since I was like 8 years old. And
nice.
Yeah, and I went by myself. I didn't have anywhere to stay.
Oh man, look at you going to these jams solo. That's so interesting.
I know. Well, nobody from here wanted to go, and so I just would go out there and just like go get them, like go make friends or whatever, like go. So, like I had met some people and they got me a wall to paint, and I made friends out there. And
who were some of the people that you met in 2014?
Some of the people from like BA crew and like this guy that wrote Beast and Payback and like Eli and a wreck
Dope.
and Scum.
Nice.
And that's me and Scum met, and he was like, yo, you should come out to Baltimore. Like,
Nice.
where you live kind of sucks. Like, you don't like it. And so I just started saving up money, and I moved to Baltimore. And I stayed out there for like a year. And that was like,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
So, you were painting with BA guys out there?
Yeah.
Nice.
But mainly I painted with Scum, and a lot of the BA guys were like cool enough to let us paint their really good spots.
Shout out to my crew. My crew is cool, okay? My crew is not going to be a bunch of assholes like BA crew.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay, and so was that 2014 you moved to Baltimore?
Yeah, or 2015,
okay,
I think.
So you met all those guys down at Basel in 2014. You got to paint, you got to network, you get a greater understanding of how big this thing is. Then you moved to Baltimore. What was it like? Because that's a pretty big shift going from Birmingham to Baltimore. Do you remember like any sort of like culture shock when you got there?
Oh, yeah, how cold it was. Yeah, I was like, this is the worst.
Did you move in the winter? When did you go?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was probably February or something of 2015. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it was like, to me, I didn't even have any clothes that were like, you know, proper to wear in temperatures like that. Like, I just have like, you know, jackets from Forever 21 or whatever, like just like a department store coat.
Car coats. We call those car coats in New York, you know? It's like they don't do you damn thing when you're out in the cold. So
yeah, so I was just out there freezing my ass off. So
and then, but I'm also curious, like, was graph like and I mean, I don't know, is it a full-time thing for you now? How do you balance your life with graffiti, like work and life and future stuff and graph? Like, are you like 24/7 type person, or is it you have to balance it in?
I definitely have to balance it in. I work a lot. So
oh yeah, you're a cake baker.
Yeah. And I'm a bakery manager, and I decorate cakes all day. So
nice.
I mean, it's fun, but it's also like, it doesn't matter how many cake orders we take. Like, you know, I have to stay there and do them. So it's like, I don't really have like a schedule. I kind of make my schedule depending on, you know, how many cakes people want. So, so really I've tried to focus on taking trips and traveling and doing that. But like, I'm definitely one of those people, like, in Hammer's interview, how he's like kind of crew or whatever, like out late up early. I feel like that is me all the time. Like, you know, I went to bed last night at 6 a.m., but I got up the day, you know, before at 7:30 and had 3 hours of sleep, and now I've had 5 hours of sleep.
And you know, like
night? Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks again then for getting up early to do this interview.
Oh, for sure.
So I want to go back a little bit because I asked you how you balance stuff. When you got to Baltimore, were you working in a bakery there?
Actually, no. What I did was I saved up money before I moved out there. Enough money where I was like, I can live on this for a year.
Okay.
And just paint. And that's what I did because I really wanted to focus on painting. Like, to me, that was the most important thing in life. Like, it wasn't, you know, a career or, you know, where I lived or anything like that. It was just purely about like, I have to get better at graffiti and I have to make it my main focus. So if I had a job or whatever, it gives me an excuse, like I'm distracted, like I have something else to do all day and then I'm tired or whatever. But like, you know, going out there and not getting a job, like I definitely got really, really bored. Like I was definitely super bored. But I had a lot of fun. Like as far as, you know, I wouldn't trade those times for anything.
No, and I think I'm guessing it had a pretty big impact because, like, if you spend a full year doing anything, doesn't matter what you're doing, if you focus on it for 1 year, you're going to get fucking good at it. and especially if you're surrounded by people that are good at what you're doing, like you were. I mean, you mentioned guys like Arek, who, first of all, friend of the podcast, crew member of mine, all around fucking badass with a can. Like, if you're able to paint with guys or girls like that, you're just going to get dope just by proxy, just by being next to them, Yeah. And so that's awesome to hear. And that was exactly sort of the question I was getting at. Like, what was your balance? And in Baltimore, it was not. It was 100% graph for a year, basically. That's amazing. Yeah. And I also, nothing against Baltimore, but I could see how you would get bored. It is not the liveliest city. And there's a lot of depressing shit in Baltimore, to be honest, too, like socioeconomic shit that's just hard to look at, I find. Yeah. So you stayed there for, like, literally, were you there for 12 months?
I would probably say anywhere between 8 to 12 months.
Mm-hmm. And so then you come after that, you move, back to Birmingham?
Yeah. I came back to Birmingham. Let's see. I started back at the same job that I had. They were like happy to have me back.
And that was decorating again? That was working in the bakery?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the same place that I work now.
Yo, why have you never done a cake piece? Like, just like cake themed. Like, I'm thinking right now of like how frosting comes out of those things and it has that awesome swirl to it and it's all shaded, like, different like shades because it's swirling. Why haven't you done like icing topped pieces?
I mean, that would be really cool. I think because, I've done a freight that was like that had like some cakes or cupcakes on it, whatever. But I don't love that train. Like, it's a reefer and it's like, it's whatever. But I'm like,
I just wonder. I'm like, hey, I can like think of all these cool elements of cake decorating that could be super fucking fresh on a piece. Just had to throw that in there. Yeah. Okay. So you moved back to Birmingham. Was that, were you, how'd you feel about making that move back?
Let's see. I remember, being kind of like excited to start a job again. Which sounds a little bit stupid.
What is it? Was it to get like some quote unquote like normalcy kind of back in your life?
Yeah, I think so. A little bit.
Also, making money is a good thing,
right? Yeah, and money. I feel like I looked for a job in Baltimore. Kind of, but not really. Like, I think that it was like that year was up and I felt like I got everything that I wanted to get out of that experience. Dope. And it was time to go back home, reset myself, and like, what's next? Mm-hmm.
What was next in 2016 for you when you went back?
Let's see. I came back and I think like the internet really has made a big impact on me as far as like meeting other writers and stuff like that.
Your Instagram, like, and your relationship with Instagram. So maybe you could talk a little bit about like how you manage your page and just like the way that you use Instagram as a tool.
I definitely meet a lot of people off of Instagram. Like, as far as like friendships that I've made off of there, like, it's like, I would have never met these people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, some of the people who...
I wouldn't have had the easiest way to just reach out to you and ask you to come on the show without it.
Yeah.
Even though, I don't know, we painted the same wall this summer. Do you remember that? The rippled metal wall that Mears invited you.
Yeah.
And I was like painting that. And I remember you guys walked past and someone's like, oh yeah, that's ITSE. And is it Acume?
Yeah, that's the Cume from Australia.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, I need to go down there and say hi. And then like I just did this big fucking piece and had to go. And I was like, I didn't get a chance to say anything. And like that was a weird day just because not a weird day. It was a great day. There were like 20 of us painting this massive corrugated metal wall. And like sometimes, you can make friends like that. Like you'll just meet them at like a little jam or like at a little wall. And other times you can just reach out through DM. So you get a lot of that. A lot of people reaching out through direct messages saying hi.
Yeah. Cool. Oh man, that's so funny. That's just funny because it's like a joke, like as far as like thirsty guys reaching out or something, but really it's not that bad. Like people are always like, oh, I bet your DMs are full of dick pics or like whatever, And
but they're
it's
not,
like,
huh?
Nah, I think I've only ever gotten one that was just like, here you go.
Wow. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
But
so,
and since I'm sorry, since we mentioned Acume, can you talk about that? Because you guys have painted. It seems like painted a bunch.
Yeah, we painted a good bit.
And what's that relationship for you? Like, are you guys just friends? What's that all about?
Yeah, we're just friends that seriously, we've been talking online for years. Like, we just followed each other online for several years, and he was like, I'm coming to the States, like, do you want to go on these trips? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we went to Chicago for several days. Like, I feel like it was like his trip was like 4 weeks, but I couldn't take that much time off. So like he went to California also, but I just met up with him in Chicago when he got there, and we stayed there for a while. And
was that the first time you guys met face to face? Was in Chicago? That's pretty interesting too. What's that like? Like, you have this online friendship for many years, then you meet in person in Chicago. Was it totally chill? Was it awkward? Was it like how was it?
Oh, it was pretty chill because we had talked on the phone. Like, I feel like I meet so many people like that off the internet that it's kind of just normal to me, you know? Like,
and I guess I'm also wondering, weird. I mean, since you mentioned dick pics, like, I just wonder, as a woman in the graph world, like, do quote unquote like friendships online, I mean, do you have to navigate those that are totally genuine friendships and those that also have some sort of hope or expectation that maybe it would become more than that? Like, sadly, a part of me was like, oh yeah, maybe they're dating. Like, which is maybe my bad that I would even let my brain go there. But there's like maybe some sort of a thought that it's like possible, but like, have you experienced a lot of that? I know you said you didn't get much dick pics, but what about like expectations from other male writers when they meet you?
Well, I just try to think about like it's natural for guys to be attracted to girls to be attracted to guys, like, or, you know, whoever, like transgender, whatever, sure. To each his own. But normally, like, it's just about, you know, some people, you know, might only want to hang out with me, you know, to try to hook up or something, I guess. So, like, you know, you do have to kind of navigate, but like most of the people I've met have been like super respectful of me and just, you know, not like catcalling or, you know, like being creepy or whatever. Most people genuinely like just want to be friends and want to, like, you know, link up and paint and just hang out. Like, I think that they think that it's interesting or something, you know, just because it is a little bit different. And like, you have to be, as a girl or a woman writing graffiti, like, I kind of see where that guy Hyena is coming from, saying like, oh, women don't belong in the graffiti world. It's not like that, but like, you do have to be kind of crude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't take shit from people.
It's a messy sport, you know? It's not the cleanest thing, you know? But I mean, it's for everybody. You know what I mean? Which I think is something that needs to be remembered, is that it's not, even though it is a male-dominated sport in a hyper-masculine kind of area, it's like women have always played a part in graph.
Right.
You know, I was asking you about your Instagram a second ago because I'm just curious, like, so it's become a tool for you to make friends, and that's awesome. I found the same thing. Is it a tool for you to get paid?
I mean, indirectly, yes. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I've met people who have hooked me up with jobs and stuff from, like, I met them through Instagram. Like, you know, I've been in their city and been like, hey, I'm in your city, like, do you want to link up and paint? And then became friends with them. And then later on, they're like, hey, like, would you be willing to do this job? And stuff like that. But, not anything like, you know, directly through Instagram. Like, no one's messaged me through there asking for jobs or whatever.
And then also, like, how much importance do you put on it? Like, are you posting every day?
I don't.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that you kind of should if you're like, pushing yourself through the internet or whatever, like
Mhm.
trying to put yourself out there. Honestly, I don't like to be on my phone all day, like
Mhm.
because I just look at other people. I'm like, yo, you guys look like
Yep,
zombies. Like,
totally.
when you try to talk to people and they're just their heads in their down hunched
Mhm.
over, their heads in their phone.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's depressing.
hello,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
hello.
a human being in front of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I didn't have a smartphone for a really long time until I started writing graffiti, and like Blaze was like, you need to get an Instagram and like all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And, then I finally got a smartphone and I was like, yo, this is so dope. Like,
Mhm. When
just
did you start your account then on Instagram?
ooh, maybe 2012 or
Mhm.
13,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. And like, I'm curious also, I mentioned that we were painting on the same wall this summer. Was that your first trip to New York City?
It wasn't. I've been to New York a couple of times.
Okay.
And painted with a couple people out there. Like I think that the guy Stay Two is the one who kind of
Mhm.
like gave us the invite for that spot.
Yeah.
Was like, hey, like kind of like put us on to that. Like, hey, we're all painting this wall. If you guys want to come paint it too. So
And how long were you guys in the city this summer? How much time were you here?
I don't. My memory is so terrible. Like maybe like 5 days or something.
Okay. And
I
you
don't know.
painted,
Like,
I saw at least 2 walls that you painted. Did you paint more than that?
yeah, I feel like maybe I was only in New York for like 3 days and he was there for 5 because we painted with Hoax
Yeah.
and on that wall, and then I feel like there was another thing too, but I can't remember what it was.
What's your like kind of impressions of the New York graph scene when you were here?
Oh, I love New York, just overall. But the graffiti scene is, I mean, it's so rich,
Yeah.
like there's just so much of it, and there's so much going on there. Like, I mean, just to be able to drive around and and have places that allow you to paint the outside walls of the entire place like that. Like, you just don't, there's not a lot of places that are as accepting
Yeah.
to
It's true.
graffiti. And it's just like a part of New York. Like without the graffiti, I feel like New York would look different, like a lot different overall.
Yeah. I mean, the other day, this Fresh Paint NYC posted this photo of this Dondi tag that was like exposed when this building was sort of like excavating the facade. They were like pulling off the stucco, and they found this a whole bunch of tags, and they actually like pressure washed the entire wall, but they left the Dondi tag. And I remember thinking,
that's awesome.
yeah, and I remember thinking that's fucking amazing, right? That like these workers knew about Dondi to the point where they left it, and then the building owners left, and now there's talk of preserving the piece itself or the tag itself with like a plexiglass board plate.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's completely like it's just in the soil here. It's in the DNA of the city, and so I'm always curious to hear about what outsiders' experiences are when they get here. We're like we've like hit our time for this interview, but like we didn't really get to talk too much about 2017. And I guess what I'm curious about is like what's next for you? Like what's the plan for ITSE?
I think for me, I'm really feeling a lot like I was right before I moved to Baltimore. Like I'm feeling really fed up with regular life, and I really want to focus on graffiti more. Like I've definitely, I go through kind of like phases where it's like I have to put my main focus on one thing at one time. So like for me, I really feel like within the next 2 years, like I have a painting partner now. Like I'm dating somebody who writes graffiti. So it's like, yeah. So for me, that's kind of like my pusher.
And that's what's it like? What's it like to date a writer? Like, I never have. And so, I'm curious if it's like, and I've asked this to like Amuse and Merlot too, and other couples that I know. It's like, do you like lay around in bed, like talking about graph, or is it like something totally external to the relationship?
Oh no, I think it plays a huge part in the relationship. Like as far as, we just talk about graffiti, just in daily conversation all the time. I think the biggest thing is like, I feel kind of like I have to date graph writers only because like anybody else is going to be like,
What is
you,
this?
yeah. And like, I don't see how guys do it. Like date girls who don't write graffiti because they're like, you're going out. It's 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and other writers get that. Like, like, do you really think that if I date some just regular guy that's not a graffiti writer, knows nothing about it, he's going to let me go out and like paint with a bunch of other guys and like, in the middle of the night or something?
Like, I don't know. Maybe you got to find that right person. I mean, whatever, it sounds like you have, so your boyfriend, who are you dating? Can you say?
He writes OSIC. Yeah.
OSIC?
Yeah.
And, so do you go and paint trains? Do you guys do everything together? You said it's your painting partner.
Yeah. So he just moved down here from Oregon and we were kind of like at that point where we're both like regrouping our lives and like, we're like, where are we going to go? Like definitely want to try to go to like, I want to live in Cincinnati. He wants to move to Portland. So, there's been like some talk of like maybe Seattle. Like those are the like 3 places that we're like,
interesting,
where are we going to go? So,
and then still taking graph vacations, I presume, to go around other cities and go to festivals and things.
Yeah, for sure. Like I make that a big priority. Like as far as going to different paint jams, I just love it. Like it's just fun for me. I like to meet new people that way, and it's a good time. I like to drink beers and hang out and paint a good piece, like in the daylight,
Yeah, absolutely. Will you go to Basel this year?
I don't know if I'll make it out this year, maybe, but like the main places I'm trying to go this year, like I'm going to Memphis for sure, for like Soul Food 6 or something like that. That's coming up in like October, and then September I want to go to St. Louis, but I don't even know who to ask like to get a spot out there. I might just go and just be like, yo, you got a spot?
Or we can connect you with the people that gave us our section. It's not hard to get a spot at St. Louis, but I think it's an important thing to do if you want to be like, I don't know, relevant. I mean, I can't think of a better word for it. It's like to stay on people's radar, you have to be making work where you are, but it also seems like you need to be at these jams, so
and you have to put yourself out there. Totally. And like you have to put your name somewhere where people are going to see it. Whether it's at one of those events or if it's online or, in a big city on a wall, like people flick that stuff in New York all the time. Like, like they've sent it to me and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, especially, you go and paint a wall that's run by, Hoax, or you paint a wall that's run by Mirrors, like you're going to get a lot more shine,
right. Cause they're good spots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you deserve it. I mean, you've been working hard. We can see it. And so congrats to you. And again, thanks for coming on the show and spending the time to just like kind of school us on your history and your life in letters. And for the people that are listening that don't know you at all, can you tell us where we can see your work, like the best places to find it online?
Probably just on my Instagram account is the only thing that I can think of. Okay. Like, which is _ITSE.
ITS_ITSE.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And no Facebook, no website?
No website. I have a Facebook, but it's just like a personal account or whatever.
Well, yeah, again, I really thank you for spending the time. It's been really, really great to hear everything from you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's fun.
My Life in Letters is looking to grow and expand our team. If you think you're right to collaborate and partner with us, please drop us a line at either mylifeinletterspodcast@gmail.com or send us a direct message at our Instagram page at My Life in Letters Podcast. My Life in Letters is recorded live in Bushwick, Brooklyn, USA. Our sponsor is sprayplanet.com. Our producer is Christopher Piccioni. Our videographer is Jordan Miller for Way Up Creative. Our intern is Jessica McGarr. Our theme music is by Fonte, and my name is Adam Fujita. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Peace.
The language of letters.
My life, my life, my life.